So you will get the love that you want and deserve in return.
Okay. I like that. And what do you think self-love and self-awareness is, Zakiyyah? What does it mean to you?
Well, I just want to start from the place of not being loving to myself, because I had that's what has drawn particular situations to me. When you talk about attracting, we do attract who we are. Mm-hmm. So when I'm in a low resonating place, like, I can't even look at myself in the mirror. I don't say nice, kind words to myself. I don't see myself as a divine being. I mean, because over the years I have learned that, but I didn't start off learning about that. I didn't start off, knowing that I was a divine being and that I was made in the image and likeness of love itself. So when I started off my journey, Marcia, I started off my journey as a very, as a young girl, and never having been really told that I was special. Every little girl wants to be told, you're special, you're unique. That's kind of where you start getting that self-love from. Hey, I'm special. I'm unique. I have something good that people see about me. So I went out seeking that love. So it never came from inside of myself. So I feel like when you really love yourself, you absolutely get to look at that one that's staring back at you in the mirror and be able to see the beauty, to be able to see the essence of yourself, to be able to really fall in love with that person, that personality that's coming forth. When we're not loving ourselves, we do things like, attract bad relationships, or I don't really want to call them bad, because I think everything shows up for a reason. Mm-hmm. Everybody shows up in our life for a reason, but I can always tell when I'm not loving myself by who's showing up to show me that. So
you touched on a point earlier in your story where you said that you weren't receiving that acknowledgement that you were special. And how many of us as little girls or even little boys go around and they don't receive those hugs or those appreciations, so they don't receive it from the external, so they internalize that, and then now they feel, well, nobody loves me, and you know what they say, hurt people hurt people.
Right.
So nobody loves me, and they go around and say, well, I don't care about you, or I don't care about this one, because nobody cares about me, so why should I care about you, kind of thing. So that's a deep-rooted issue, but, and I don't want to touch into the solutions as yet. I just want us to kind of weed out, how do these things show up? Because some people are walking around and actually not even realizing that they don't love themselves. I know I've given people compliments, and it's just a compliment. Hey, I love those shoes. Or, hey, I like that hat, because, I'm a hat person. And they'll go ahead and they'll tell me, oh, this old thing, oh, this old shoe, oh, I look so fat. Or, that's self-deprecating. So people do that and think that in trying to make themselves seem small, it makes them seem humble, when it actually doesn't really do that. Anybody want to speak on that, to kind of expound in your travels, in your footprint? Have you seen people who either have the similar kind of trait or something else that you want to just bring to the table?
I think I have seen that before, even with myself, like just in the work environment in corporate America, people will pay you compliments. And I think I just never knew how to receive compliments, because, just because someone pays you a compliment doesn't mean they're trying to like flirt with you or, you know, anything like that. They're just, you know, acknowledging, hey, girl, you wearing that orange today, or, oh, you look really nice, you look beautiful. So it took me a minute to just accept the compliments. Not that I wasn't aware of compliments, but just to accept it. Because like you said, you know, you hear that, but you want to be humble. So you be like, oh, nah, what you talking about? Nah, this old thing, I just pulled this out from last year, you know. But it took me to learn that process of just accept the compliment, because that's all it really is. You know, don't read nothing else into it. It's just a compliment. And it's okay for me to accept the compliment and just say thank you and keep it moving.
And keep it moving.
Right.
Exactly. I know a lady, and well, I shouldn't say I know her. I had a friend, a male friend, and we were tight. And it was a work buddy, you know, but you know, you meet people in your travels and you work 8 hours a day with these people and you form relationships, right? When I say relationship, I mean just like a friendship. And we used to go out for drinks, you know, it was a group of us, so we used to just hang out all the time. And there was this woman that had come to the job and she was new. She was an intern. And he used to just admire the way she walked, the way she looked and everything, you know? And he said, boy, I'm going to get that. You know how guys talk. And eventually he came back and he said, you know, something is wrong with that lady. And we're like, well, how come something's wrong with her now? You know, before she was so gorgeous and so drop dead and she had all that junk in the trunk and all that. Now something's wrong with her. He's like, yeah, because even though he was admiring her from afar, he never said anything to her. So the one day he went up to her and said, I really like how you look. She took that as, oh my God, he wants to have sex with me, and had sex with him.
Oh, wow.
I said, you're lying. He's like, no. He said, that's why I said something's wrong with her, because if she does that just from one little compliment, then what else is she going to do? You know, somebody takes her out to buy her dinner. I mean, really? That's all it took? He's like, I can't deal with that. So I'm saying that to say you have women who are out there, and maybe guys too, you know, but because there's such a, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? They hold women who sleep around as a slut.
A stigma, yeah.
As a stigma, and it's that wasn't the one I was looking for. That wasn't the one. It's a double
standard.
Double standard. Yeah, I couldn't remember that. Yeah. I had a brain fart. Yeah, so it's a double standard, because if a guy were to do that, they'd pat him on the back like,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Get as much as you want. So,
exactly.
But you know what? Okay, so we grew up with the boys being encouraged to go get it.
Right.
Correct? You know, their fathers, their uncles, their brothers, man, you know, get it as early as you can and knock it out. Girls, we were told, close it up tight. Don't you let nobody in. That, you know, because first thing you're going to do is you're going to get pregnant, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, whatever. But what my experience was that that's how I got attention and affection and what I thought was love. Because when the boy was paying attention to me and he was telling me all the right things, it made me feel good about myself. So, okay, here comes the lack of self-love. So I'm not loving myself. I'm not feeling really good about myself. And the boys are telling me, girl, I really like you and all this kind of stuff. So I'm making myself look good, not to impress me, not because I want to look good. I want to impress him. I want to show off. I want to show my body, because I had a nice little body. I did have a little rocking body back in them days. But, you know, I was pulling it out from the outside rather than from the inside. And it is a double standard, Marcia, and it's still a double standard, because men are still patted on the back. Boys are still being taught that. And, you know, girls are not really being taught as much about keeping it closed as we would like them to understand, because it is sacred. What we, you know, our sacred self, we are just giving, and not honoring ourselves.
But getting back to what you said, so the girl gets the attention and she feels like she has to spread ego, and the guy gets the attention and he goes and he sleeps with everybody. So question, if the same treatment of the non-affection in the relationship, so mommy daddy didn't show the affection to the little boy and mommy daddy didn't show the affection to the little girl, so that the first chance they get to get that affection from elsewhere, they feel that that is open reins. Now, how does that little boy grow up to show that dysfunction? How does that emanate into a relationship? How can you then say, well, this guy didn't get enough hugs when he was a kid? And you know, I used to say that a lot, just joking around. Oh, you never got some hugs when you were a baby, or you didn't get the breast milk or something like that. But it's so true. Yeah. If somebody doesn't get that kind of affection from an early stage, that lack of emotion kind of builds that kind of a wall. So what does he grow up to be? Well, we'll get back to her, because she's not necessarily a slut because, but what does he grow up to be? How does his dysfunction start to affect his relationship? Jovita?
I think he just goes around with a kind of like a don't care attitude, where he just doesn't show any emotion at all. So he's just going through, but not feeling anything, because, you know, guys are taught, you know, man up, you know, emotions are for girls. You're not supposed to, you know, cry or feel anything like that. You got to be a man. I want you to be a man up, toughen up. So I think how it gets into their dysfunction is just they got that wall, like you say, and they just don't know how to tap into their inner self.
So do they then become emotionally unavailable to women?
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe so. They are emotionally unavailable. They won't allow themselves to become that way until they break free themselves and kind of learn how to love themselves.
So then that prevents them from being intimate, and I say intimate not necessarily in a sexual manner, but intimate with someone. They can't sit down and have a heart to heart or actually express their true feelings about something or anything.
No, because they've been taught to not express their feelings. That's really why. So they don't know how to. So when it's time to, they would rather come with like have sex. Sex makes them feel closer. That's their affection. So that's their, like I said, that's their dysfunction, really. So I mean,
so they may be a hoe,
right?
But that's their release, or that's their connect, so to speak. So Zakiyyah, would you say that for the woman who is the same thing, you know, she doesn't get the affection, she doesn't get the attention, so the minute that some of that comes from the outside to her, because she doesn't know that it comes from within, right? So we're dealing with externals. So she gets that external, hey baby, you look so good, you know, and she feels that, oh, that's open season for, hey, let's go have sex. And because she doesn't realize that it's dysfunctional, or maybe she'll say, well, I'm just a sex addict, and she really isn't, you know. So how does she show up in a relationship? We notice that the guy is emotionally unavailable, and he might be promiscuous, but promiscuous because he's trying to find that connection. So is that the same thing for the woman, or is there other things that might be showing up for her?
Well, she's definitely still trying to find that connection, and it's really with herself. But she's looking for it in outer, you know, in an outer relationship. I look at a lot of women who had daddy issues. You know, and listening to them. How was your relationship with your father? Okay, didn't have one. or maybe daddy was emotionally unavailable. So if daddy was emotionally unavailable, okay, so we just finished talking about that. Daddy does not know how to express his love, does not know how to express his affection, even to his daughter. So she's not getting that. So what is she going to do? She's going to internalize that as, I'm not important. I'm not special. So what is she going to do? She's going to seek that which is going to make her feel important and special. So she's going to find the guy that, you know, the same guy you just finished talking about that is not emotionally available. He's trying to find himself in a relationship because he wants to be shown that he's special. That he's you know, he's a man. He's this guy that she's going to be that's going to come into his life, and then she's going to be looking for the same thing. So these two dysfunctional people are going to find each other. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, then you have this wonderful experience of dysfunctional relationships. I'm seeking love, you're seeking love. I don't know how to love, you don't know how to love. So where do we come, and how does it come together? And oftentimes, Marcia, that's when you find a lot of abuse in relationships. Because if you're not giving to me what I'm wanting, then that feels like rejection. You know, you're making me now feel, I'm going back again, I'm feeling rejected, I'm not feeling like I'm wanted, I'm not feeling like I'm special. So, you know, then a lot of times that can end up in an abusive situation.
Wow. So, wow, I wasn't even thinking along those lines. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So now that they're feeling rejected because, okay. So it spawns this toxicity, and the toxicity just breeds all this resentment, and the resentment breeds the abuse and all that. Okay. So that's the interpersonal relationship. I'm glad you brought that. Let's stick a pin there. So abuse and rejection. Now, these two people are amongst us, amongst the rest of us in society. How can we identify these people? How can we just say, okay, well, I work with this girl and she doesn't know about loving herself? How can we identify them? We go to the store. I'm sure they're all around us. We go to a concert. We go to the club. We go to a restaurant. We interact with these people. How can we then know that these people are not practicing some degree of self-love, that they have been without for so long? That wasn't the word I was looking for, but I don't think I can say that word right now. Yeah, that they have been deficient of that for so long. How can we identify people like this? How does the common layperson say, you know, she needs to love herself more, you know, he needs to love himself more? How do we identify these people? Jovita?
Well, I don't think you can identify them until you actually talk to them and kind of get to know them a little bit. Because I can look at you and I may think that, but I could be so far off, because I think people, you know, they give off different types of behavior, but that doesn't necessarily means all the time that they don't love themselves. You know, some people just be seeking attention. And I don't think that's a form of not loving yourself. It's just, you just want to be the center of attention. So I think for me personally, I would have to get to know that person, or at least have a conversation with them, because you can tell by just how they say things, how they respond to certain scenarios. You can gather that. That's how I would actually be able to identify. I'm not going to say I can look at you and say, oh yeah, you need to love yourself, because you don't. I can't do that. But I think by just having a conversation, you don't even have to become the best of friends with them. I think just by having a general conversation, you can get a lot from that conversation.
Okay. Zakiyyah?
Well, you know, I agree with Jovita that you really can't make a judgment about what people are or how they are or not loving themselves. But I'll give you an example of what I would say about a person that's not loving themselves. I watched a video not too long ago. Actually was filmed in Jamaica or one of the other islands, I'm not sure which. But this young lady was on the beach, and this guy was just like on top of her, and and they were just, they were supposed. It started out kind of dancing, and then it went into him just being really, really sexual, and just like kind of humping on her, and she wasn't backing off, and she wasn't. Wait a minute, hold up, So my heart went out to her because I was feeling like this young lady does not honor herself, and all the people are standing around and they're, egging it on and egging it on. And this man was really, to me, dishonoring her. What I would see that as a woman who does not love herself. Because when you can't honor yourself, when you would let someone, just kind of totally take over and just really, I can't even come up with the word, but just really disrespecting you and trying to, showing this sexual thing to it. This ain't the place and time for that. You don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? So,
they didn't know each other?
No, they didn't know each other. This was just a girl and a guy on the, she was dancing and then he just came up to her. You know how the guys do, and then they just start, but she should have cut that off. A woman who loves and respects herself would have been, she would have shut that down and not even kept going on with that. And so my heart did go out to her. So I think that sometimes you can have a display outwardly that lets you know that you're not honoring it. And of course, when you don't honor yourself, there's no self-love. You can't love yourself and be dishonoring at the same time. So sometimes you can.
Right.
So I'm glad that you brought that storyline around Zakiyyah, because I was going to say to Jovita that no, I disagree with what you're saying there, but you said that's the way that you would do it.
Right.
Now me, I watch people a lot. I do people watching all day, every day, because to me, I watch their body language. And you can tell so much from a person's mannerisms, without them even uttering a word before they start to utter a word. So what I usually look for is how they're looking down a lot. And it could be that just one instant, they're having issues and they're just thinking outright. But if that's their normal gait, they're always looking down, or they're not, if they're wearing clothes, and it doesn't even have to be a Calvin Klein or anything like that. It could be just regular old clothes. But if it's not clean, if it's not kept, if it's not ironed or just look hygienic, then that person just doesn't think themselves worthy. And even if you might say, well, they don't have an iron or they don't have electricity. Listen, if you have enough dignity and self-respect, you're going to try to put your best foot forward or your best face forward out there. And it doesn't have to cost $1 million or $1,000 or even $20. Whatever it is that you have, you will bring that best out. So sometimes you see people like that walking around and they look all disheveled because they've given up on themselves. So that's how I would look, and that's how I would look at someone and say, well, that self-love tank is a little bit low. It's getting to below E. So yeah. So I'm glad that we spoke about that, because I'm getting back now to the interpersonal aspect of it. And like we said, there are people out there who they are already emotionally deficient. So because of that deficiency, they now get it any which way that they can, and they react to that because they don't know that it starts within. So can we speak to that starting within discussion? How can we now let someone say, all right, well, I'm that person who thought that because he complimented me, it meant that, oh, he was in love with me or he wanted to take me to bed or whatever. Or you see those people that, and not saying that everyone is like that, but you see a lot of people with all these markings on their skins, tattoos, and tattoos are beautiful. But you have some people who just go all in their eyelid and everything. Why? You know, but that's them. And I'm not judging, but I'm just saying that there are some people who do that because they feel that it's releasing some kind of pain. You have people who, and this is going to the other side of the fence that I don't even want to cross over there, but you have people who try to hurt themselves in different kinds of ways because they feel that they're deficient in that self-love. So based on that, let's try and start there. How do we tell these people what is one things that they can do, that they can say, well, okay, start loving yourself by doing this?
Well, may I start off with that, because one of the techniques that was introduced to me that has just been a godsend, and I want to thank my beautiful friend Janine Ingram, who hosts the Love Journey on Monday through Friday. But she taught us how to do the mirror work.
The mirror?
And mirror.
Okay.
Get in front of that mirror. Get yourself a mirror. And Marcia, it oh my God, it's just so heartbreaking when I think about women, and I know men too, but I guess because I'm just, more, the sisterhood is my passion. But when I think about our sisters who cannot stand in front of a mirror and look at themselves,
but they can
look at ourselves and see beauty and see, oh my gosh, this magnificent being created by the image and likeness of all that is good and lovely. And it's me. And I'm telling you, when I started using that mirror and she started telling us to look into our eyes, because guess what? The eyes are the windows to the soul.
Right.
The eyes will tell you all about you. We don't even take time to look into our own eyes. We'll let somebody else gaze up in them beautiful brown eyes, all right? You know what I'm saying? But to look into our own eyes and to stand there and look at our face and not say, oh, you got a pimple, you got a wrinkle, Now, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about loving what we see. That, to me, is one of the best tools that it was brought to me, and it has changed so many people's lives. Louise Hay, I don't know if you know about her, but Louise Hay, she talks about the mirror work. So many people today are talking about mirror work. To me, that's one of the first places that we can start, because, well, I said everybody has a mirror, but I was in somebody's home once, and I said, girl, where your mirrors at? She said, I don't have any. I said, what you mean? How you supposed to look at yourself and see if your clothes are right there? She wouldn't look at herself.
Wow.
She couldn't even look at herself. So that's what I would offer. Get that mirror. And it's so funny. I just bought this little wallet case, and it has a mirror attached to it. And it's a phone wallet. And I said, I get to open up this thing and look at myself every single time I'm on the phone and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Speak the words, I love you, until you can get it.
Yep.
It may not feel like it at first. It may feel strange to even be looking at yourself and saying, I love you. But until you really get it, keep saying it, because it'll sink in. Your body will respond to it. Your mind, your whole being will respond to those words, I love you.
Jovita?
She's basically said what I was going to say. And it's funny that you did say the mirror, because that's kind of what I do when I talk to women. You have to affirm yourself, because it also starts in your mind as well. So while you're in front of that mirror, like you said, tell yourself that I love you, or say, girl, you are beautiful. Because when I was a little girl, and my family would probably call me a little bit conceited or whatnot, but I stayed in the mirror. Not that I needed any validation, but just being a little girl, I was just in the mirror. I was like, girl, you are beautiful. Actually, that's not how I said it. I said, girl, you is beautiful. So, and I've always done that. So that comes kind of naturally to me. And funny story, my son does the same thing.
Ooh.
So he's like,
he
man,
said, girl, you is beautiful too?
No, he said, I'm handsome. But he acknowledges himself, so he's, he's confident. And so that mirror thing is very, very powerful, like you said. And then speaking the affirmations, tell yourself, pick one thing, like you said, let's pick I am beautiful, and keep saying it to yourself every day as you look in that mirror until you believe that you are beautiful. And once you believe that, then you say the next thing you want, that you want to believe, because I am a firm believer, if you speak it into existence, it will be.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
So I'm so glad that we're all on this synergy, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I don't call it the mirror work, but what I tell my clients is that you come out the shower and you get your lotion or your oil. Just stay in the mirror and start to lotion your skin and just notice, oh my God, you're so soft. Oh, look at this, and just admire yourself. Like, seriously, start admiring. Look at your girls and, rub them and just really appreciating your whole body. Curves and all. Curls and curves and dimples and everything. Everything.
That's all good.
And the topic of this self-love and self-appreciation, and in case you just joined, this is the SpeakerMC Show, and we have our two guests, Zakiyyah Lana and Jovita Miller, and we are talking about self-love and self-awareness, and how when there's a deficit of that self-love, how it shows up in toxic relationships, abusive relationships, unemotional attachments, promiscuity, and we're now talking about how we can solve those little touch points. And we just spoke about doing the mirror work. So the other thing I wanted to bring to the table, ladies, was about appreciating ourselves. Because if we don't appreciate ourselves, then how is it that we are going to appreciate someone else? How do we go about now learning to appreciate ourselves? And I just want us to spend like a short amount of time, because I want to be fair to you guys, so you can tell our audiences, a little bit about your story and how they can connect with you. But how can we tell them, or explain to them, or discuss with them, or share with them, how can they go about appreciating themselves so that the self-love starts to emanate, besides doing the mirror work?
Well, I'll just, I would just say one of the things, because I love to write, write down the things that you feel are special about yourself. I mean, are you a good communicator? Do you have, do you really communicate with people? Are you a caring person? Do you get along well with people? Are you the person in your workplace, excuse me, that people come to? Excuse me. Are you a leader? So write these things down. And I think as we write things down about ourselves, or even write out what it is that we see that's good about ourselves or that's wonderful about ourselves, and we can say, wow, that's something that I see in myself that I really don't see in someone else. And that can bring forth that appreciation. I'm a caring person. That's really unique, to have in this world. So I think writing it down and really getting a chance to talk about the things that we feel are important and special about ourselves.
Write it down, write it down.
Write it down.
Right, I agree. And as you're writing it down, you really need to be open and honest with yourself. Like, don't write down what you think someone else sees in you. You need to write down what you see in yourself. You need to write down your good qualities, your good traits. You need to write down everything that you see that's good. Because if you focus on what other people see, then you're not truly aware of who you are. You're just looking at yourself from someone else's eyes. So I agree with writing it down, but you have to be open and honest and vulnerable, and just be okay with whatever you write down. Just know it's okay that you wrote this down, because you may write something down that you don't like, But it's okay because you can change that. At least you acknowledge, hey, oh, I wrote this down. This isn't really a special quality, but you can change it. You can take steps to improve. So I agree with the writing things down. You just have to. And that's how you open yourself up, become more vulnerable, and then you appreciate what you do have, and you start living, you know, that life. If you think if you say that you're a caring person, you will be caring to others, because once you put that out there, you're going to attract caring people.
Okay. So, one thing I wanted to add to the dynamic of writing it down, I also want to think that if people are true with themselves, so if you know what your strengths are, that's great. But if you also know what your weaknesses are, and if you can also acknowledge that, you know, I'm very short-tempered, but that self-reflection and that acknowledgement, so now it's like the 12-step program. Either you're a drunk and you're going to be in denial, or you'll be a drunk and you'll take 12 steps to recover from the alcoholism, right? So if you know that you're impatient and you write it down, and sometimes when you see those things, those negative things about yourself, you'll say, you know, I really need to change that. I wonder if other people see that in me as well, you know? So that's one thing I want to comment on about the writing down. The other thing I wanted to say is, with regard to starting to appreciate yourself more, affirmations are good. I have this one affirmation, well, I have two, but one of them, I wrote it on my mirrors. I put, I am enough. I have it all over my house. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough.
Love it.
I am enough. I'm rubbing myself. I am enough.
I am enough. I am enough.
Yes.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if you don't think that you're worth something, if you don't think that you're enough for somebody else, then there it starts, you know, that downward spiral. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add to the table. So ladies, I want to be able to give you guys your 5 minutes each, so you can tell our audience a little bit about your story, your business, how they can connect with you, and any kind of upcoming events that you may have. So we started with Zakiyyah. You want to start with Jovita. Jovita, you want to go first?
Well, okay, sure. So my overall mission is to empower women to live confident, authentic lives unapologetically. I offer a couple of mentoring programs. One is a 6-month group program. It's called 6 Steps to Living a Purposeful and Passionate Life. And the other one is just a VIP 101 mentoring program. And each one of these programs is geared towards women kind of finding their true self, you know, believing in themselves, everything we've talked about here tonight, you know, the self-love, the self-awareness, and taking the necessary steps to continue to live an abundant life. I also have a couple of Facebook groups out there right now. One is called Just Jovita's Girlfriend Lounge, and it's for all women. And you can join that. Just click on it and say, hey, I want to join. And the other one is called Mindset Rejuvenation for single moms. And that's for all my single moms. And recently we are all now going through this 42-day Mindset Rejuvenation program. And it's a free program, so you can join at any time. And it's called Jovita's Mindset Rejuvenation.JovitaNMiller.com. I believe that's the website address for that program. But it's just to get you on, it's just to jumpstart your journey onto like kind of living a refreshed and renewed life. Because we're all busy and we all got things to do, and we all need to like take that time to kind of renew our minds and stuff. Because I think once you start thinking differently, you act differently, you attract different things. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Upcoming, I don't have anything upcoming in the near future, but you can follow me all over social media. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Jovita N. Miller. My website is JovitaNMiller.com. And yeah, that's all I have.
So Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you're Jovita Miller?
Jovita N. Miller, yes.
N. Miller.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also on LinkedIn too, and I think that's Jovita N. Miller too, or just Jovita Miller. But
okay, so if you want, you could type that in the chat room, because
okay, I'll
I
do
only
that.
put the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
That's fine. I can do that.
All right. So thank you. And they can connect with you on your Facebook groups and on your website, yeah?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Fabulous. And Madame, Miss Zakiyyah Lana.
Ms. Zakiyyah Lana, affectionately known as Z.
Z.
Yeah, Z Lana. Well, thank you so much, Marcia, first of all, for the opportunity to be here and to be with your guests and talking about an amazing subject, which is always good, self-love. I'm a new author of a brand new book, which I'm so proud of. Jamaica, a memoir of miracles, manifestations, love. And you can see me here on the back. You can get this is a story. It's a memoir. It's about, it talks a little bit about my life as I grew up. It talks about my the years of being unloving when I became a substance abuse addict, a drug addict, and the transformation from that into my spiritual life when I came to know love as God and God as love in me. It also talks about my journey in Jamaica, which I love to talk about. Beautiful places, the beautiful island, the beautiful people. I wanted in this book, in my memoir, to really show how you can have a dream. And I had a dream as a very young girl, and that you can have a dream and not know how it's going to manifest, but that the universe will support the desires of your heart. And I was able to manifest living in the Caribbean on the island of Jamaica. And one of my passions and my purpose is a retreat. You talked about that earlier. I'm a retreat coordinator, and I love giving women's retreats. I love bringing women together because, Marcia, women, I don't feel take good care of ourselves enough. We get the nails done, we get the hair done, we get, we do that, we buy the stuff. But to take some time away to just pamper ourselves and love up on ourselves and just do something different, have some adventure in our life.
Yes.
That's why I bring sisters on retreat to do those kinds of things. So I have the One Love Jamaica retreat. As a matter of fact, I do have one that's coming up in August. I'll be posting it up on my Facebook page in just a little bit. So if you want to learn more about that, if you're interested in going with me on retreat in Jamaica, you can reach me at zlana energy, ENERGY @gmail.com, zlanaenergy@gmail. And we're going to be going to just hang out and be ourselves, learn some stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of different things that come up for women, like our sexuality and our sensuality. So we're going to be exploring some of those things as we're on retreat, and we're going to have some fun and pamper ourselves too. So that's what I have. And also, I said you can get a copy of my book on Amazon. Just type in Jamaica, a memoir, and it'll come right up, and I appreciate your support. I also, do support people who are interested in doing vision boards. I learned about vision boarding when I was with the Unity Church, and I learned that it's about putting our desires, our goals, our dreams, our pictured prayer. I love calling it pictured prayer because I believe that everything is a prayer. Our words, our thoughts, our actions. And so I love to be able to share that with anyone who wants to learn how to create those vision boards or pictured prayer. So again, you can reach me at zlanaenergy@gmail.com. Or you can reach me up on Facebook at Zakiyyah Lana. ZAKIYYAH, Zakiyyah Lana, LANA. So I think that's all I have.
And did you ladies have any kind of free offering to offer our guests? Or, I mean, it's just a question. You don't have to. If you have anything to say, well, okay, here is a free report, discount, book, whatever it is that you're offering our audience today for connecting with you.
Well, yes, I would like to be able to offer a free copy of my book, Jamaica, a memoir of miracles, manifestations, love.
Okay.
I certainly, anybody that reaches out to me who, would like to participate in my retreat or anything that I'm doing, I would love to be able to have you have a copy of my book, because I want you, first of all, to get to know a little bit about me, but also about the island of Jamaica from my perspective. So yes, that's what I would have to offer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And you know, Jovita?
I have my free 42-day mindset rejuvenation program for single moms. I put the website in the group, so if you go and click there, you'll have access to it, and it's free.
Jovita's mindset rejuvenation.jovitamiller.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Well, I sure enjoyed our discussion here tonight, ladies. And in case anyone is wondering, who am I? I'm SpeakerMC, aka Marcia Chambers. I host and produce the SpeakerMC Show, as well as S.W.E.L.L. Happy Hour. And this coming Wednesday, we're having an all-female panel on the S.W.E.L.L. Happy Hour. Yes. And we are going to be entertaining all questions that a guy or even another girl wanted to say, why do women do? So it's going to be very vibrant. We have 4 ladies that are going to be on our show. Najami Lazama, Kathy Steiner, Sonia Brewer, and KD J. Oh, I can never remember her name. KD J. She's a rap artist. She's gonna really kill me because I messed up her name the last time. JD Kalan. Jeez, JD Kalan. Yes. Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. Anyway, she'll be our rap artist, and she's gonna be on our panel as well. So I can't wait for that show. That's on Wednesday. And I'm doing a masterclass tomorrow. It's called Bring Back That Lovin' Feeling. How to bring back that lovin' feeling and return to the honeymoon in 7 days. So that's all about S.W.E.L.L. It's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. And I'll send out, excuse me, the link. So that's what I have coming up. And ladies, I just wanted to ask you if you would stick around for a couple minutes to entertain some questions and comments that we may have. Is that okay with you?
It absolutely is fine with me. And I want to ask you a question before we do that.
Well, I wanted to also ask you, if you guys had a good time here tonight, if you could give us a little testimonial. Did you enjoy the program? Did you enjoy the discussion? Were you nervous? Something, anything.
I enjoyed it. I have fun. I love talking about relationships. And so this has been really, really, really fun. I'm glad I came back. This is my second time. So yes. So I enjoy it.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. Thank you for coming. It was such a pleasure having you here tonight. Such a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Zakiyyah?
Yes, ma'am. I did enjoy myself as well. And I thank you for bringing up the topic, because we can't talk enough about self-love and self-awareness. And it was so good to meet Jovita.
Yes.
And to share this platform with her. I've been to this call a couple of times, and each time, your show a couple of times, and each time it's just been very informative. So I hope it was that for those who participated tonight, who were here tonight.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous.
So what I wanted to do was to ask a question of you, Marcia, because, you know, you put yourself out there a lot to be of service to others. What do you do to love yourself? What is the one thing that you do that you love, that shows that you love yourself?
The one thing that I do is to make sure that I get my ass up and go for a walk. It doesn't matter what time of day or night. Like, I was supposed to have done it 6 o'clock this morning, and I just felt really tired. You know, sometimes your body just says, you're tired. So I slept a little longer, and so much so the day just rolled into and morphed into this big ball. So now I feel like, I need to go out there and either do a nice brisk walk or do a jog or something. But I like to connect with nature, because that kind of is like part of my meditation, you know. I connect with nature. I look at the birds. I don't know a damn thing about birds, but I just love how they fly. So that's what I do. That's what I do. Apart from loving myself, you know, loving on myself.
Beautiful. You know, that's so beautiful. And Oprah was saying today on the talk, that's what she does. She goes out and walks, and she likes to take meditative walks. So that's a good thing.
I'm channeling Oprah. What can I tell you?
Yeah, man.
I'm channeling Oprah.
channeling Oprah's wisdom, knowledge, and money, and her success. Her talk show, you the bomb.com and the talk show.
Okay, now we open our floor to our guests. I see some of them have gone to bed or something. We'll open our floors, and we thank you all for being here with us tonight. Do you guys have any questions or comments that you want to pitch to the panel about self-love and how to get it, how not to get it, how you can recognize it, how to tell somebody to get it? Anybody? Everybody? Somebody scream! Nobody? Yes.
I'll just say I enjoyed the show. I greatly appreciate you all sharing your perspectives, and it was very informative. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Emma. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else wanted to put their 2 cents in?
I have a question.
Yes. Najami, how are you? Najami is our panelist for Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes, one of our panelists.
The writer, sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly. Zakiyyah. When you talked about the young lady being danced on, this was something you saw in Jamaica?
It was on a video. Yeah, it was on a video, and I'm guessing it could have been in Jamaica or one of the islands, but you could see the beach, and you could, see inside the,
The dancing was something cultural in the sense that, from a cultural perspective, since I'm from the Caribbean, when people consent to the whining of a dance, whining is a kind of a dance where the man aggressively is whining, dancing on the woman, and she is responding to him in kind. So I'm wondering if that is what you saw, in a sense of it being from a different cultural paradigm and not just her being taken advantage of. I'm wondering how, I don't know if that was what the scenario was. I was just kind of questioning.
Right. Najami, I kind of heard you because you were kind of going in and out. But yeah, I mean, I've seen whining, and no, it was definitely different from that. I mean, I kind of think it started out like that, but then he started getting more aggressive with it to the point where he was like having her down on the ground and just kind of, being sexual with her like that. So it wasn't whining.
Some Jamaican dances that are very aggressive, I know, extremely aggressive. And I remember hearing some political a person in office talking portraying that type of dancing from a different platform, because some is called a pata pata or Marcia, am I saying the name correctly? Pata pata, that kind of aggressive type of pasa. Yeah. That's the aggressive type of Jamaican type of a dance where The man has a woman on the floor. He has her on the pool. He has her all over. So I'm wondering, you know, from that cultural paradigm, if that's what was going on. You know, but I enjoyed the show. Thank you so much. Enjoy listening to you, ladies.
Well, thank you, Queen. I
Thank you.
appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you. Yes,
Peace
yes.
and love.
It was absolutely spectacular. All right. Well, if nobody, the Millers, well, someone's there. I don't know if they want to say anything. Okay. Well, if no one has anything else that they want to share, that they want to comment on, that they want to say, well, I guess I will bid everyone a good night. And just remember, I always, oh, you wanted to say something, Najami?
Regards to being gatekeepers, as we learn how to love ourselves and accept ourselves, that we pass on the knowledge in whatever little way we can with even those our neighbor daughters, our nieces, even our nephews, and letting them know how special they are, how they matter, how they are valued, by either the information we share when we meet them one-on-one, or we do it on Facebook, or, you know, do it in our talks or whatever have you. You know, that's all.
That's a very good suggestion. Very good suggestion. Because a lot of people are spewing a lot of stuff that are on these social media platforms, and they don't even seem to realize that not only how it makes them look, but what they are really saying about themselves, you know. So that's very good to hear. Thank you for that suggestion, Najami.
And, you know, may I just offer this as well? Thank you, Najami, for talking about the children, because it really does start with the babies. You know, it really does start with the babies. And I think one of the unfortunate things is that sometimes women, young women, girls, are having these babies at such an early age. These girls don't know about self-love, so they're not instilling it in their babies. They're not holding their babies to their breast. They're not taking that time to look into their eyes and say, "Oh, I love you, my little baby boy, my little baby girl." They're not taking time to stroke them. They're putting them in a crib, and they're not paying attention, and, you know, all of those things. You know, they're calling them names at very early ages, and so, you know, it's got to start with the children, because guess what? The children are the ones that are going to grow up to be these emotionally unavailable men, these women who are seeking validation outside of themselves. So it absolutely starts with the children. And if there's anything that we can do, if we have little ones in our families in any way, you know, if they're not receiving that, give it to them as much as you can.
Right.
Tell them how amazing they are. I tell my little granddaughter, who's 8, "You're the smartest girl in the whole wide world. You remember that? Grandma telling you, you're the smartest girl in the whole wide world." You know? And I say that to her often. And so every time, you know, she tells me about school and she says, "I did this and I did that," I want her to feel that, you know, how important that is. And then there's one more thing I want to offer. There's a song that I was taught by a Unity Church, and we were singing it on the Love Journey, and it's just wonderful. Maybe you ladies and gentlemen will learn it and sing it to yourselves in the mirror and to each other. So it goes like this. "I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, and you can love you so much, so you can keep loving me. Woo! I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, and you can love you so much, so you can keep on loving me."
All right.
Yes. And then we say keep that love flowing and keep it growing, because it's all about the love. So family, sing that song to yourself every day. Sing it to your children. Sing it to your mamas, whoever, to your beloved. I love myself so much so I can love you so much, so that
Yes.
you can love you so much, so then you keep on loving me. And that's what makes the world go round. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I was
it.
gonna say something
Shame.
to what you had said about the mothers and the children, but I think we're just gonna end on that positive note.
Yes.
Because what I was gonna say was, I was gonna lead us in a different rabbit hole. So, ladies, I am so honored that you guys took the time out today to share some time and space with us in this reality of the SpeakerMC Show, you know, that conversation about self-love and self-awareness and who am I really? And just to share your knowledge and your expertise with us and with our audience. I really and truly appreciate you. And as Maya Angelou always says, I love Maya. She says, people will never remember what you said or what you did. People will always remember how you made them feel. So please give a smile, give a hug, give a touch. Let someone feel good today. And on that note, we're out. The SpeakerMC Show. Good night. And we thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you all.
Namaste. One love.
One love.